The Peskin Report is sponsored by High and Happy Catering out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Their chef, Michael Best, can cook anything you want with or without being infused with cannabis. Check out some of what they make on their Instagram at High and Happy Catering or call them at 413-785-8999. You'll be happy you did.
Welcome to the Pesky Report, a podcast for Red Sox fans.
What's going on, everybody? This is episode 136 of the Pesky Report. My name is Brandon Brewer, and I am joined here tonight by the one and only Hungdale and the one and only Hogdale, aka Brad and Ed. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
What is going on? We had to show some mad props to our boy Hogdale, who's driving all the way from Iowa to go to Boston. Holy hell, man. I'm doing fantastic, actually. A little tired. Super happy that we're done with the West Coast leg of the season. Other than that, I'm doing good.
Yeah. Ed, how's it going, man? It's been a while since we've been on together. It's good to see you on here again.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Today we're all Hogdale. I guess I'm kind
a variation of.
Yeah, I see myself in a lot of ways as Hogdale's father, so a part of him really is a part of me as well. But
except he's like 6 feet tall, and I don't know how tall you are, but you're
not 6 feet tall. He's not 6 feet tall. He's like 6'20".
He's like 6+. That's a big dude.
Big guy.
Anyway, Red Sox wrapping up the West Coast road trip, as Brad alluded to, finishing up 8-2 on the West Coast. They've moved to 9-2 for the month of June. Red Sox playing some good ball right now.
I'd like to point out that during the West Coast leg, they were undefeated in the month of June until that last game against the Angels. And they've lost 2 games in the month of June. But I'd also like to make a point to, let everybody know that the Red Sox are actually still undefeated when wearing the City Connect jerseys.
That's true. That's a good point. They have not lost a game this season wearing the City Connects. Going back home to Boston, could we see them break them out one more time?
There hasn't been anything said about it, so I'm not too sure that that's going to be a thing. We've got a couple injuries that have happened as well, so
yeah, that does put a damper.
We'll talk about that as well.
Yeah. So where do you guys want to start? Do you want to talk about the West Coast games and how it's a pain to try to stay up,
bro,
and how
my God,
all Red Sox fans are now rejoicing that they're going to go back to 7 p.m. games?
I don't know if all Red Sox fans are, but I know at least the East Coast fans are.
Very much so.
No, my bedtime's usually between 1 and 2 a.m., so it was just nice having stuff to do when I was going to be up anyway. Gave me an evening where I could get stuff done around the house. I might miss it a little bit.
See, you're one of the rare ones because, normal people like Brad and myself, we tend to try to be in bed before midnight. And when games are starting at 9:30, 10 o'clock, those games aren't getting over till well after midnight. So it makes for a very early and a rough start to your work week.
It depends on when you have to get there. Mondays, I have to be there at 9. The rest of the week, I kind of pick and choose my hours. So it's makes things a little easier that way.
I don't know how you stay up that late.
I do want to mention this. It's I've noticed I complain about staying up late for games and whatnot, but I have to give props to our friends across the pond, the UK
for
Red
sure.
Sox fans, who are 5 hours ahead of us. And when a game starts at like 10 o'clock at night and they are still up watching these games, it's insane because they're up until 5 o'clock in the morning. And then some of them go to work the next day, which is absolutely insanity. So big shout out. Like I know I've been making a lot of shout outs to our friends over the UK Red Sox fans, but holy shit, this past like couple series, you guys have been showing some commitment. So
tip of the cap to you guys for sure. Yeah.
Like every time I sit here and I'm like complaining about the West Coast and it's starting at 10:30 at night and whatnot, I can only imagine how you guys are doing it.
They must be taking naps during the day, waking up, ridiculous times and adjusting their entire sleep schedules.
I know that most of the time it's one person who's running the account during the late night games, Addie, who actually has been on our show, and much respect and props to her.
Cool deal. Yeah, so let's talk about these last few games that were on the West Coast. Of course, they were in Seattle playing against the fourth place in the American League West, Seattle Mariners. And we started it all off on Friday evening with the showdown between Rich Hill and Gonzalez from the Mariners. And this was a good one. Marco Gonzalez went out there. He did what we all expected from Marco Gonzalez, 4.1 innings pitched. Didn't really expect him to go too deep. Hill kind of matched that stat line. So Hill's had ups and downs. This one wasn't his best performance, but he got the job done.
I'm gonna just like say I'm tired of the Dick Mountain hatred. Like people are like, oh, he needs to retire, blah 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 blah. He can't go deep. He's a number 5 starter. He's doing exactly what a number 5 is supposed to do. I will tell you this. I will take Rich Hill doing what he has been doing in 2022 over what Martin Perez or Garrett Richards was doing in 2021.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. At least you know what you're going to get with Hill, and he's going to give you some good innings. He may get hit around every now and then. In this one, he gave up 5 hits, had 2 runs charged to him. So not the most dominant performance. 6 strikeouts, though, for Mr. Hill. That was pretty good in this one. And it was just a decent showing. Bullpen really came together and rounded this game out for us.
It really did. This was one of those you got to see Diekman. He ended up getting the win. I've never understood how you can throw one inning and get a win. I hate that, but whatever. Robles got the hold. Strom got a hold, and then Hout came out and he saved the game. And we'll talk about the whole Robles. We'll talk about Robles. We'll also talk about Hout and whatnot probably a little bit later. But it was a good game, in my opinion. Even though it was very close, and Rich Hill, the starters didn't go deep at all. But I thought it was good. I will have to say that I think Bob's starting to warm up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bobby Dahlbeck homered in this one in the 7th inning, and that was essentially the winning run at that point. The Mariners ended up coming back and getting another one in the 8th, so it kind of negated that as the winning run. But at that point, that was the go-ahead run. It was a big hit. We all rejoiced seeing Bobby Dahlbeck starting to swing the bat much better, and in his hometown there in Seattle. So pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to push back a little bit at you, Brandon, with the Marco Gonzalez slander there. He's been he hasn't thrown less than 5 1/3 innings since April. And in his last 3 starts going into that, in which he went 7 innings, 7 1/3, and 5 1/3, he walked exactly 1 batter. Whereas against the Red Sox, for some reason, he walked 6 batters. So I don't know what was going on there, but Gonzalez has been a pretty reliable workhorse for the Mariners, a nice little number 3 type starter. So they weren't able to maximize the damage, but they did manage to beat him.
And what did they do against him the last time?
What did they do against him the last time? Is he the one that they beat the hell out of? Or I don't think they went against him in the last series with Seattle. I think he was the odd man out.
Yeah, I don't see last time. That was the first time that he's faced Boston this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I have a soft spot for him because he's one of these lefties with a really good changeup and good control. Doesn't overpower people, but he knows how to pitch. And there aren't as many of those guys around the league as one would imagine. There just aren't that many of those guys. Rich Hill, I'm with you, Brad. I don't know. If you're going to get on him for having a few bad starts, then you can't really ignore him going, what was it, like 20 straight innings without a run, whatever it was earlier in the year.
He went he was giving less than 2 or less runs per outing. So, and I believe his last game that he had pitched was against the A's. He went 16 batters down in a row. So, I mean, let's pick a spot here.
Yeah.
Are we really gonna give him crap, or let him pitch like a number 5?
Yeah, your number 5 isn't expected to retire 16 guys in a row or that sort of thing, or go on 20 scoreless inning runs.
4 1/3 from your number 5, giving up 2 runs, not terrible.
It's not terrible. No, you'll take it. I do wonder what will happen to Hill. I think he's going to be kind of the odd man out once everybody's healthy.
I don't think that's actually an odd man out situation. I think he basically knows.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
That's going to be the situation. I don't know though, because of what's been going on with Whitlock.
Do you think maybe Whitlock gets reshuffled back into the pen?
I don't know. I think Hill has to go into the pen. If you get Sale and Paxton back, we'll talk about it. But if you get Sale and Paxton back, I think that both of those guys are going into the pen.
Yeah, at least initially, right?
I mean, there's talks about Sale going to the pen too. So
yeah. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure we'll get some news coming out with the team coming back to Boston and everybody getting back together and high-fiving after a great trip. I do want to mention that after that Dahlbeck home run, the very next batter was Rob Refsnyder, and he happened to get plunked. And that became kind of a trend of this series, was Red Sox hitters getting hit or at least thrown at after a big home run. So that's something that we'll talk about as this progresses.
That was also like 100-mile-per-hour fastball. It wasn't just like a changeup. It wasn't a curveball. It was 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, as Eck would say, that had some hair.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one thing if it happens once and it looks, and it's an accident. But yeah, JD Martinez got a brush back, and then today someone got hit. Who was it? JD got hit immediately after that Devers
JD
home
got
run.
hit.
Yeah. And once maybe it's an accident, twice coincidence, but 3 times, and it's all after a home run.
Right.
Nah,
and two of them were against JD. Like, they went up and in on him. They were tight. So, and then Cora just flipped his shit, rightfully so. But it's like, I didn't like it. At first, I was just like, why are we yelling at them? Whatever. And then I realized, I was like, oh, but like Maz and OB were talking about like the previous games, the previous series in Boston, like did something happen there? And it was actually the night before.
Yeah. And that brings us to the game 2 of this series, whenever Devers, he hit the first inning home run, and then the next batter would have been JD Martinez, and that's whenever they brushed him back off the plate with a fastball that was high and inside. And that's whenever the whole Cora yelling from the dugout happened, and then the umpire. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was like, "Hey, we're done with it. We're done with it." So,
home plate was Laz Diaz.
Laz Diaz. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and you could hear him over the mic. He was just like, "We're done. That's it.
Yeah,
whatever."
And to that point, it did seem to play out pretty clean from there on out. I didn't see or hear any kind of other issues or anything going on. So hopefully it was just a weird coincidence, but it's a bad look whenever every time somebody hits a home run, you're running them in on people.
Yeah, it definitely is. This was also the game where Story led off. He ended up with Kirby. We went against Kirby, and he went 1 for 4. I feel like Story did not show up at all this series at all. And I think
he's cooled off significantly from his May run, which we didn't think that he would be able to sustain. But
yeah, but the fact he went 0 for 2 in two of the games this series, he literally went 1 for I want to say 14.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah, not too great. Hopefully getting back to Fenway will get that confidence and that swing going again. Waka in this one only went 4 1/3, and this is a guy that we've grown a little bit accustomed to and maybe been a little spoiled by this season. But him only going 4 1/3 and giving up 8 hits and 3 earned runs, kind of an unusual. This is one of those outlier performances, not in a good way.
This game actually started off pretty tough on both starters.
Yeah,
I believe Kirby threw 40 pitches in the first inning. It was a shock that I believe they only got 1 run in that first inning, right? 3 runs. They got 3 runs. But I mean, he got off the hook pretty easily. He should have probably given up all 7 runs in that inning itself. He threw 40 pitches. I believe Waka threw 30 something in that inning. It was 35. Yeah. It was I think 70 pitches in that inning, I'm assuming. Yeah. It was a crazy start to the game.
I know the jokes going around on social media was that, this should already be in the top of the 3rd inning, but here we are in the bottom of the 1st.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was a long 1st inning.
And this was the only game that the Red Sox lost in this series, so it kind of sucked that it started out so promising with that 2-run blast. We were all like, "Yep, we're gonna go ahead and win this series. Go for the sweep tomorrow. It's going to be a good route." And then it ended up being a game where the bullpen kind of let it slip away in the end.
The biggest shock for me was Strom. He blew the save. He's been so good for us. He's been dependable. But he had 2 saves against the Angels, and it's okay, maybe we should be using him in the 7th inning or the 6th inning, because he's shown that he doesn't pitch all that well in those innings, but he pitches better when it's on the line.
I mean, he hasn't had a ton of opportunity for that, though, to screw up late in games. They've been straying away from him, except for when we saw those back-to-back starts. They've kind of been straying away from him there, so which is a little odd. But I mean, he's a good pitcher. I don't think he's a great pitcher, but I kind of like him in tangent with Schreiber as the 7th and 8th inning. I think that's a really nice combination between the two.
I'd rather him close over Robles, and that was the situation where we were in. So,
yeah, that's that. I mean, it might have been a matchups thing too. It might have been that there were more lefties there, or they wanted Robles to be facing more of the righties, or that kind of thing. But I do agree with you that he's a better 9th inning option than Robles has been, especially at this point. Right, he's fine for the 7th inning. I want him as far away from the 9th inning as possible on the list there.
I'd probably put Robles right with Matt Barnes as the least dependable person to throw in a game. You throw him in a game when you're getting blown out or you're blowing someone out.
Are we just going to forget about what was it 16 consecutive scoreless innings that he had before. He's been fine
Last year?
in setup roles that are early. Last year,
Last
going
year?
into last year, but also the beginning of this year. He was good the beginning of this year. What's his ERA right now? This is including that game.
3.20.
Yeah, so if he's been that terrible for the whole season, and he hasn't been pitching mop-up work, how is his ERA not above 5?
I mean, the fact that he's blown 4 games. I mean,
right.
That doesn't say he sucks in that 9th inning.
I would agree that he shouldn't be in the 9th inning. I strongly agree there. I thought you were saying as far as the whole pen, he's up there with Barnes for that.
I would put him up there with Barnes.
What? Okay, so for the 7th inning?
I don't know. It's Barnes. I don't want Barnes on the team. That's my opinion. But I mean, I'd put him up there as not dependable.
I would say that I don't trust him right now. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I also don't really trust Jake Deichmann.
We've got the.
I get the Deichmann situation.
We've got the trust-o-meter pulled up on the screen here, so we can look at Ed's most current rankings.
Deichmann's situation is that his break on his slider is it breaks so much that he has no idea where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, that's also true, but he's still a member of the bullpen. There are 3 people that I think that I trust less than I would Robles right now. That's Deichmann, Valdez, and Ryan Brazier, who did throw a 1-2-3 inning today, Brazier. Surprisingly, in the 6th inning in a tie game. I don't know why they're still using him in tie games, but hey, he did it.
Oh, he pitched in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we can't put Houck in back-to-back games.
I don't know what was up with that there. Did he just throw it too many pitches or what was, because they threw him today. He looked good.
He looked great today. Yeah. Yeah. Came out there, got 3 outs, bang, bang, bang. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get him used to pitching in multiple games, because to start the season, he was a starter. And then whenever he first went to the pen, he was used as the piggyback with Hill. So he would only pitch basically every 5th day. Whenever Hill pitched, he would come in as the relief, the long relief for that. Houck
threw 22 pitches on Friday.
I see no reason why he shouldn't be able to pitch on Saturday, unless they're still trying to just get him acclimated to being a 1-inning guy.
They literally said that he was not available, and that makes no sense. You need a closer, and you're using him in that situation. Why? Why are we not going back-to-back days?
No, I don't know. I think they should go ahead and just name him as the actual closer and move on with it. Close the door on that conversation. Leads us into today when Houck closed the game out, and the Red Sox were successful in a 2-0 victory over the Mariners, completing the road trip and completing the series win. And it was good to see Rafi Devers with the game-winning home run in the top of the 8th inning, 2-run shot there. Kind of a weird one because Ref Snyder got hit by a pitch. Devers went oppo for a home run, and then Martinez got hit by a pitch. So, and Martinez
Ref Snyder also had one hell of a catch.
He did have probably the catch of the year so far. Pretty fantastic to see him laying out in outfield and making contributions there. I know that tweet has been shared by some of the big boys. ESPN and all the others have been sharing that tweet. So that's how you know it's a real quality catch, and it's not just us blowing smoke.
Did you guys see the gift that Carabas shared?
No.
Nah.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
For anybody out there that isn't watching on our YouTube channel, Carabas shared a picture. Rafi was getting he was being interviewed, and he's eating an ice cream cone.
Big Scoops living up to his nickname for sure.
In case you didn't know, that Rafi is very, very aware of his nickname and the fact that he is a 12-year-old that happens to be really good at baseball.
On a damn school night.
So that pretty much wraps up the series there with the Mariners. We talked a little bit before we came on, but who do you guys see as the MVP of this series?
I'll let Ed and you go first.
Man, that's so I'm gonna be honest. Cutter Crawford. I give it to Crawford, and here is the reason why. He didn't give up any runs, fine, 1 hit, 4 walks. It was a decent outing, but this is 2 starters going on the IL this series, 2 of the better ones in the rotation, in Eovaldi and Whitlock. So, rather than come in and give them 2 innings, 3 innings, he comes in, gives them 5 innings, lets the rest of the pen take care of it. That's a game that he could have gone 3 innings of 2-run ball and people would have been fine with it. But he gave them 5, throwing a no-hitter into the 5th inning. They ended up being able to stay in that because they didn't have to go to the pen too early there. And there was, Rafi clearly deserves some of the credit there. JD hit 2 homers, Bobby hit 2 homers, but that was just such a huge start for Crawford, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and it came just the timing with it. I give it to Cutter.
Yeah, old Knuckleball definitely redeemed himself from earlier in the season when he was in the pen, and he didn't even look great as a starter in Worcester as well. So for him to come out there and to be able to throw up 5 innings, one hit ball, I think Maz was the one that said it on the broadcast that he's definitely earned another chance at being a starter. So with the injuries that you mentioned, I definitely see him sticking around for the next at least couple weeks. We'll see him make another start when it's his turn to come around. For me, I've got the series MVP as Big Scoops himself, Mr. Rafael Devers. Game winner today. He had a big home run in game 3 or game 2 of this series as well. Dude, he goes out there and plays baseball like we all wish we could. His defense has been so much better. I think that's been the biggest part of his game that's been improved is his defense. He's actually showing that he's a multi-tool player and not just a guy that can swing a big bat. And Rafi Devers is the man.
Devers definitely, you can never say no to Devers being an MVP of the series or whatever, but I'm going to go with Bobby Dahlbeck. I feel like he's got so much hatred and he's been shed on for a lot of the season so far. And then he goes home, he's comfortable. He hits a ding dong in the first game. He actually hit the go ahead run that, would have won the Red Sox the game last night. I'm going to have to give it to Dahlbeck. Now to your point about Scoops and how his defense has been this season, I've actually been, I've gotten into quite a few arguments on the good old Book of Face. We know how well I am on Facebook and how often I get banned. But there have been quite a few people that were just like, oh, this is the reason why you don't pay this guy $30 million a year. If you are upset and you do not want to pay Rafi Devers $30 million a year because of the way he's been playing defense this year, please watch another sport.
Yeah, I mean, that's about all you can say because he is playing elite defensive levels. I don't have the numbers in front of me for how many errors he has on the season, but I know it's far less than he had last year at this time in the season.
He had more, I think I looked it up. He had more errors in the 2020 season at this point in time. Let me pick it up real quick.
Sure.
His defense.
Defense is a stat that we don't really routinely check when it comes to these players. So
in 60 games in 2020, he had 14 errors. He had a total of 22 errors last year. Granted, he does, those are a lot of errors. They don't call it the hot corner for no reason. But this year alone, 7. We are 58 games in. He's only had 7 errors. If that's not an improvement, I don't know what is.
Well, I think the key stat that we should zero in on there is you said that in 2020, he played 57 games and had 14 errors.
Right.
This year, he's played one more game and has half the amount of errors.
Right.
So that significant improvement right there.
Right.
The numbers don't lie.
Nope, they do not. And these are also people that wouldn't have paid David Ortiz what he was getting when he came to Boston, because he was he wasn't a great first baseman. These are people that would have been like, oh, you're paying him way too much. And then he comes out and he's literally the best DH in all of baseball. Yes.
So I think everybody general consensus is that Nolan Arenado is one of the best, if not the best, third baseman in all of baseball.
Okay.
Do you want to know how many errors he has this season?
I'm assuming it's more than what Devers has.
6. So he has one fewer error than Devers.
Edward?
So I generally find defensive statistics to be a lot less reliable than what we get for offensive statistics, just because there's a lot more circumstantial evidence with it. For instance, say you're on a team that has a really good fielding first baseman. That's going to make your errors total less. Paul Goldschmidt is a much better fielding first baseman, for instance, than Dahlbeck or Franchi. Additionally, if the roster has a bunch of sinker ballers on the team, you're going to see more ground balls. If you have a team that doesn't have a lot of strikeout pitchers, a team where there are runners constantly on base, there's just too many things kind of floating around there. I know there are some other more advanced defensive metrics, but I've just never found anything that I've seen to really make me think, oh, well, this guy's clearly, I can statistically prove that he's a great fielder. It's hard to do. But yeah, I would strongly agree that Devers has looked a lot better this year. He's not making as many of those plays that are just, like lapses in judgment, or like him getting a routine grounder and throwing it 10 seats up the first baseline. You're just not seeing that happen as much.
So while you were talking, and I do agree with you that Paul Goldschmidt is definitely a much better fielding first baseman than anybody on the Red Sox. They both have the same number of throwing errors. So the one where Devers has over him is a fielding error. So he bobbled it or whatever it is. But throwing errors, they both have 4 on the season. So Rafael Devers, potential Platinum Glove award winner in 2022. Let's go.
Let's go.
I would settle with people just not talking about moving him to first base or DH during every offseason. I would be like, if people are like, yeah, he's fine at third, I'm pretty good with that. I'm good with Rafi.
I have to admit, in 2019, I wrote 2020, I wrote an article that I think that I thought that Devers should be the future DH, and I'm eating. He's like, I saw that, Brad. I definitely saw what you wrote, and now you're going to eat those words. And
he may yet be the future DH for the Boston Red Sox 8 years from now. But as for now, he can play third base.
Yeah.
But we do have to talk about these injuries that are plaguing the Red Sox right now. Of course, we have kind of brushed over Nathan Eovaldi and Garrett Whitlock, not Garrett Richards, being on the IL.
Halloran, jeez, man, come on.
But also Kike Hernandez on the IL as well. So the Red Sox are a little bit banged up, definitely in need of this day off tomorrow. We don't know maybe JD's hand, because he got plunked pretty good on that hand. So he's going to need the rest day to hopefully heal up and not miss any time. So
all right, we've got Evaldi, we've got Whitlock, both on the IL. So we got Crawford, who was called up today, who ended up making a spot start. We'll call it a spot start for Whitlock. They potentially moved Pivetta. He's going to be pitching on Tuesday, which actually upsets me because I'm going to the game on Wednesday, and that would have been the game that he was pitching. So do you think they are going to move Waka to Wednesday?
I would think that it would be Hill going on Wednesday. Because Waka is after Hill in the rotation.
I saw the way that it's lined up as far as AAA goes, that there's a chance that we're going to see Winkowski pitch on Wednesday or Thursday.
Oh man,
that was what I had seen there.
I'd rather see Hill.
I'm fine with. I mean, if the rotation right now they're down 2 starters, so it would stand to reason that they do need to bring someone up from AAA, right?
Right. No, I definitely get it. But why not Siebold?
It's time for Bello to make his debut, boys.
We're not. I think with
JK.
I mean, with Siebold, he just got off the IL. He threw 3 innings in his last start, so they might want him to, to get a little more time. And also, Winkowski, he already got a taste of it. His last outing, he pitched a 7-inning shutout. It was the second half of a doubleheader. I think Wink can handle it as far as just making a few spot starts until one of them comes back.
I don't know. I feel like Siebold should be. I get it. He just came off the IL, but it just seems like Siebold should be getting that. Ed, I actually have a question for you that has nothing to do with any of these guys.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you explain? All right, I think I asked it in the group chat like 3 times, and you completely overlooked it. Can you please explain how it is that last year Jarren Duran was called up after the All-Star break? He was called up this year as well, and he still has 3 options.
Yeah, I got nothing on that. I'm sorry I missed that in the group chat. I was away. I've been away all week.
That was me just throwing a jab at you, but
yeah.
No, I'm just trying to figure out.
I got nothing on that.
this year's option situation, I get he was just called up because of the Bradley situation.
Yeah.
Last year, I thought he was actually called up to stay on the team, so that would have been an option.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how with COVID or how they've really been working that stuff around as far as options go. I don't think he was ever. Yeah, I can't answer that, unfortunately.
Can you find that out for us?
Yeah, I could do that.
Brandon's sitting over here playing with his Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I am. Not really. I don't know anything about the option situation, so I was just letting Ed kind of take control.
Hey, we've got so much in common there, though, because I don't either.
It was brought up in a Facebook group that I'm in, and so far not banned yet. But
good for you.
Knock on wood. But someone was talking about why are we bringing up? I believe it was our Ooze, who, by the way, was DFA'd, and we didn't talk about that. Why they were bringing up our Ooze instead of Jarren Duran? Somebody was stating that they don't want to use the options, yada yada yada. And I explained to this one person, I was like, he still has 3 options, and he was called up this year. He was called up last year, and he still has 3 options. So I was just like, I don't understand where you're coming from here. And then Doink actually mentioned that she thought that because he was brought to L.A. and then he was sent back down. I believe it was actually Oakland, and then he was sent back down before the L.A. series. that they had to wait. I believe she said 10 days before they could call him back up. And neither one of us could find anything out about it. And I was just trying to like get that information. And I know your connections and whatnot, so I figured maybe you could figure that out for us.
It seems like to me, and again, I don't really know anything about this stuff, but it seems like to me that him being called up this year is because of the medical, because of JBJ. So I wouldn't think there would be any kind of like timeline on it.
Why
because
would
it was an emergency call up.
Right, but then like when he's, like maybe it had to do with the fact that they did send him down and they have to wait 10 days or something, I don't know. That's why I was trying to reach out to Edward. I'm sorry, Hogdale, and see if Hogdale could reach out to his friends and get us some information.
Well, maybe Hogdale will be able to do that. I know he's driving through Boston right now, so hopefully he'll make a
What are you talking about? Hogdale's right here on the screen.
Well, I'm talking about the real Hogdale because he's going to be the one that will go out and get the actual information that we need. I have faith in Hogdale.
Believe in Hogdale. Hashtag believe in Hogdale.
Hashtag believe in Hogdale. Yeah. So let's talk about the Araús being defied.
Yeah, that
was kind of a shock. It makes sense. It makes sense, but it was still kind of a shock, in my opinion. I feel as though that came, out of left field, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they had just brought him up to the West Coast to give the infielders a little bit of rest. I thought that Darwinson getting moved to the 60-day DL, or maybe they DFA Brazier or someone like that. I wasn't entirely. I can't say I was expecting Araúz, but I'm also not totally surprised. I think that he's someone that I'm hopeful that he'll be able to sneak through waivers and they'll be able to retain him because I think that he's a valuable utility guy. But there are guys who have surpassed him in the system already, and like Ryan Fitzgerald and even Jeter Downs at this point. Honestly,
did he clear waivers?
I do not believe it's happened yet, one way or the other. I think that there's like 48 hours people have to claim him.
I mean, he was DFA'd on the 10th, so it's still pending.
Yeah, we'll know on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, I like Red Snyder coming up there. What'd you guys think of him getting the call up instead of Duran?
I mean, it worked out.
Hindsight is 2020, but I didn't hate it. Didn't hate it, but didn't absolutely love it. I mean, it worked out. Yeah, it kind of is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're it's unfortunate that a lot of the people that are like being clamored to come up are all left-handed bats. So we end up Red Snyder has that one big edge over Duran because the entire you can't do an entire outfield of left-handed hitters, not just left-handed hitters, lefties that don't hit other lefties very well.
Sure.
So yeah, the depth.
That's a really good point.
It ended up paying off a lot if you're Red Snyder. And I mean, if Verdugo or, JBJ go down, Duran's the first guy that comes up. But
so I just wanted to make a point here. As everybody knows, I go to Fangraphs when it goes to looking at the pitching matchups and whatnot. And it does look like it's going to be Hill on Wednesday and Winkowski on Thursday.
Okay. So you're gonna get to see Wink, huh?
No, I'm gonna get to see Dick Mountain.
Oh, you're there for Hill. Okay.
Brad, I want you to be at every Hill start in like full Dick Mountain garb. I think that like he really needs to get you on his payroll for that.
Should I get like a penis outfit and just walk around? How soon do you think I would be kicked out of Fenway?
I think what you would have to do is bring it in like a backpack and then put it on mid-game
They
and
don't-
then run on the field.
They do not allow you in with any types of bags anymore.
Now let's take a step back. Remember last year when Steve wore the Reese's costume,
Right.
and that became a thing that he had to wear it every game. Is this something that you would want to commit to every game?
I mean,
Because
if it's gonna help Dick Mountain, Dick Mountain, I will wear a penis costume.
If he goes out there and shoves and goes 7
Dick
innings
Mountain
of no hit
shoves, and I'm
ball,
wearing a penis costume.
Guess you're wearing one for every 5 days.
I'd probably, yeah. I don't think I'd actually make it through the security with a with a penis costume on.
Just tell them it's not a penis costume. Tell them it's a hot dog.
that's what you do. You get a hot dog costume,
yeah.
and then you wear your Dick Mountain T-shirt over it.
Fair enough. I think my Dick Mountain T-shirt's packed up.
You've got time to unpack.
Nah, dude. No.
I like that compromise there, though. I think that's a good middle ground for the
I think so, too.
hot dog
the
with
old
Dick
hot dog.
Mountain. The whole. Yeah. Hey, so that's actually the day I'm going to meet Hogdale too. So
That's
imagine
cool.
that he meets me for the first time, and it's like wearing a whole hot dog costume.
I think this has to happen now.
Oh fuck me!
I think this is something that really needs to happen. What do you guys think about the All-Star game voting?
Oh man. I mean, I think Devers and Bogart should definitely be on the team. I think after that, it's a little bit more of a crapshoot. I think maybe you'll see someone like Waka, if he can bounce back and have another couple good games, he's got a real shot at making it. But besides that, those are really the only three that I see.
No Pavetta.
Oh, JD, sorry, JD. Yeah, no, Pavetta too. Yeah, that's fair. So Pavetta, JD Martinez have shots at it, and then Bogarts and Devers definitely.
We should just throw Matt Barnes back in there.
No,
Yeah, no.
Get
shit.
out
we
of
should
here.
throw Matt Barnes in anywhere until
Yeah,
he's
we should
healthy.
throw him to the fucking sun. I would like to say I do not like the fans voting. For the All-Stars.
I never have.
I think it's. I'm in a group, and one person was just like, "I voted for Dahlback. I voted for Story. I voted for Xander, Verdugo, Bradley Jr., Kike. I voted for all Red Sox," and I was like, "And you're the reason why the All-Star game is gonna suck." And Petty agrees.
A lot of people do that, though. A lot of people only vote for their home team favorites, but then the other league, they'll vote based off of the stats. So their other league will a lot of times end up being the true vote. And I mean, and you guys are talking about some of the guys on the Red Sox. I agree, Ed. I think Devers and Xander should both be starters for the American League. However, when it comes to DH, I don't know
Jose
that JD,
Ramirez is probably going to be the starter for third base.
You think so?
I don't think anyone's going to be offended if Devers is the starter. I think they're both going to be all-stars for sure, but
I think so too. When it comes to DH, I don't think JD will have enough oomph to be the starter. I know his batting average is through the roof. He's like 340 something batting average.
doubles
But
too. Shitload of doubles.
Yordan Alvarez will be the starting DH for the American League.
Yeah.
He's got he's 311 with 17 bombs, 41 ribbies.
Your right fielder is
crushing.
probably going to end up being Judge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I disagree about your Don there because I think Otani's going to get more votes.
And that's why fan voting sucks, because Yordan
it's
Alvarez
true.
should be that guy.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. Shohei probably will get more votes just because he's popular.
You know what vote I like for the All-Star team? I like the last spot on it that they used to do. I don't think they're still doing it, but remember they used to pick like 5 people, and that's how Hideki
And
Okachika got on the team.
they would campaign for it and stuff.
Yeah, I love that shit. That was my favorite.
Who was it Brock Holt that was up for it one year, or was Brock Holt the one that was campaigning for guys? I can't remember.
I think Benintendi didn't win it through that. He was up for it one year. Holt made it, but like that Holt was
I think Holt was campaigning for it. He was holding like the cardboard head of Benintendi and all this stuff. Like that's fun. Like, but fan voting kind of sucks. I agree with you, Brad.
I'm done with it. It doesn't need to happen. We need to stop it. This is the reason why fans should be voting for like the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. Like, we're pissed off about the writers and stuff, but it's like, how are we really going to do it? Like, if it was up to us, yes, Barry Bonds would be in the Hall of Fame. If it was up to us, Roger Clemens would be in the Hall of Fame. If it was up to us, Pete Rose, all these people would be in the Hall of Fame. But this just shows that we can't be trusted. Like with the All-Star, when it comes to like voting for All-Stars, it's just no.
But get this, like in a roundabout weird way, fans do influence Hall of Fame voting by voting in people for All-Star games, because that's one of the things that they take into consideration. Oh, he's a 14-time All-Star. He won the popularity contest 14 times is all that amounts to. He was prom king.
Yeah, it's I'm not a fan of it. I haven't been a fan of it for a while. The other thing that I haven't been a fan of since it's been a thing is that they took away that whichever team league wins the All-Star game, they are the home team for the World Series. I'm not a fan. They took that away.
You like that, huh?
I did like that. That was a reason for people to actually try in the All-Star game.
I think with baseball,
I totally get it. I totally understand that the best team should have the home field advantage, but I also think that the All-Star game meant more when there was something behind it.
Okay. I mean, I get that. I do.
I think this year they are going to be doing if it's tied after 9 innings, they're doing a home run derby.
I kind of like
that. That's fun. That's fun.
I think that's the way every game should be.
Ed,
can I tell you what I think the winning team should get for the All-Star game? Each team that would be good. Yes, that is part of it. But along with the ice cream cones, every team gets an additional draft pick from that league.
Oh wow.
That's going to give you some incentive there to have some better All-Stars.
Maybe that's the way we should get the teams to start spending money and letting their their kids get called up and stay up instead of playing with their their options and whatnot.
I do hear your point, Brad, about it is fun for them to have something meaningful behind it. But if you look around at the other major sports, baseball's All-Star game is, in my opinion, way better than all of the others.
I watched the Pro Bowl this past season, and it was it's terrible.
Yeah,
they do not tackle each other. What are we doing?
The NBA All-Star game is a high scoring contest every year. Now, back in the 90s, they actually went out there and competed and played, and it was a good game. But now the All-Star games will be
games should mean something.
150 to 147. Like it's a non-defensive game. Baseball, on the other hand, I feel like they still try. Like, you're not going to have Max Scherzer go out there and throw BP to somebody just so fans can see home runs.
No.
Like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to see guys like Nolan Arenado boot a ball so that, whoever can get a single. It's just not going to happen. They're going to try to make the play. They're going to try to keep it going. And for that reason, I think baseball's All-Star game is already more competitive, but maybe there is something there that we can propose that to make it a little spicy. But I don't mind the fact that they took away the home field advantage for the World Series, because that sucks whenever your team has the better record throughout 162 games and you don't get home field because of an all-star game.
I mean, like I said, I get it. I just wish it would have stayed because of the fact that, like I said, it meant something. It doesn't. Also, I mean, they still play. They still do their thing. They're mic'd up and whatnot. They're having fun and whatever, and they're still trying. But I feel like there's more trying if it means something. That's it. I don't hate that they took it away. I just don't like that they took it away, if that makes sense.
You know what I think would mean something even more to the majority of those players? Because let's face it, only 2 teams out of the entire league are going to make it to the World Series anyway, so that's not going to impact everyone. But you know what does? Show me the money.
Yeah.
Winning team gets a huge pay bump.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
That needs to be the case. If you're an all-star, you should get some kind of huge bonus that isn't from the teams, it's from the league.
Fair point.
So anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comments about that. Well, I would be interested to hear what other people have to say about that.
All right. So do we want to go through the pitching matchups?
Yeah, let's do that. Sox are going to sweep.
You want to go through pitching matchups first?
Yeah, Sox are going to sweep, though.
Okay. So we have Jared Koenig versus Nick Pivetta. That name means nothing. It seems like a made-up name. We have James Kaprielian versus Dick Mountain. And then that's on Wednesday. That will be the game that both Hogdale and myself are going to be at. If anybody's going to that game, we will be out in the bleachers. And then on Thursday, we have Paul Blackburn versus Josh Wingowski. And he will be making his second start of the season. And I might actually go to that game. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, that's who we got. I'm going with a sweep. Brandon's going with a sweep. And how are you going? What are you going with there, Mr. Hogdale Ed?
2 out of 3 Red Sox, I think. You guys know how Paul Blackburn's doing this year?
I can tell you, according to Fangraphs. Actually, no, I can't.
66 innings, 2.31 ERA, 15 walks, 47 strikeouts, 1.01 WHIP. So I think that's a tough assignment for Winkowski to draw. Obviously, I'd love to be wrong, but I think they already swept Oakland once. It's tough to sweep a team twice.
To that point, Ed, last time that Blackburn faced these Boston Red Sox, he only went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 earned.
Well, I hope that happens again.
I hope it's like 10 hits and 9 earned.
That'd be great. That would be phenomenal. So yeah, looking forward to this one. I think Red Sox sweep. We're all embodying Hogdale today, and Hogdale says they're going to sweep every series. So I think that's what we should all go with.
Downloading.
For those that aren't watching, Brad's wearing a shirt that says downloading that has a picture of a man pooping.
All right.
It's quality. It's very quality. I like that shirt.
Isaiah, you mean Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas.
I noticed it as soon as you got on. I just didn't say anything about it. All right. So you'll be back later this week, Brad, to discuss this A's series, yeah?
Yeah, I think the next time we are on, as of right now, I think it's just Bailey and myself. We have not had Bailey on the podcast since the season started. She moved back out. She moved out to California again, and we are hoping. We've got things that are going on with Mr. Ryan Brady and his family. You know, our thoughts are with him. Also, Doink and her is dealing with her boyfriend. He is going in for spinal surgery, so she'll be busy with that. She said she might actually be able to come on the show, but I was just like, just pay attention. Like, give your boyfriend all the attention he needs. He just got out. He'll just be getting out of surgery. So, yeah, I think it's just going to be Bailey and myself. So if it is, we'll have a great show. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, haven't had Bailey on. She's been doing Soxy Chicks with Crystal on our YouTube page, which if you guys have not checked out, definitely go ahead and check that out. She has been doing some other projects as well. She's been working with Over the Monster. Ed, have you guys been doing your podcast?
We're going to be starting it up again soon, but we both kind of hit some busyness in the schedule, so we've been taking a little bit of a hiatus. But we're going to be back tomorrow, Brad.
Yeah,
and Tim.
I was actually about to. I don't know if Tim's available. I haven't talked to him yet, but I know you and I are doing a show tomorrow. We're going to be talking to what's his name?
Hunter Knoll, who is the minor league writer for Bo Sox Injection, and does a real good job there. Looking forward to he did a top 30 list going at the end of last year for top 30 prospects in the system, and made some pretty bold predictions that have actually paid off, at least early, and some other ones that are even more nonsensical now than they were then. So it's going to be fun to kind of talk about that with him and get his take on the system.
It definitely will be. That is part of our Green Acres podcast that we will be actually putting on the Pesky Reports shows. That'll be going on once a month. That will be a show that Ed is going to be driving. What else is going on? Also, great news on the front for our podcast network. Belly Up has been doing some stuff outside. And we have actually been like the number one podcast on Belly Up Network since basically we joined, I guess, not trying to pat myself on the back here or pat ourselves on the back, but
we'll pat you on the back, Brad. We'll definitely.
We've all been doing a great job here, and I think we've been making some good content. And we appreciate everybody that's downloaded, listened, followed, and whatnot. And it's been great. We actually just recently hit over 100,000 downloads since we started. So that was another good thing. And a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, and Brandon's son is talking about something in the background.
Oh, you can hear that. Wow.
Yeah.
It is bedtime for him. So he's probably putting up a fight with not wanting to brush his teeth and not wanting to go to bed. So
it's 9 o'clock. That's way too early.
Well, he's 6. So
I'm joking.
Yeah, he doesn't get to stay up and watch the West Coast games, and he's kind of bummed about it. But I told him there were no games tonight, so nothing to fight about.
Sunday night baseball.
Yeah. He likes to watch baseball with me from time to time, so I'm trying to get him get it ingrained early.
Good.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back later on this week, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in the comment section, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pesky Report. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our